AI sabotage isn't a Gen Z problem. It's a human one. If you've seen recent headlines about Gen Z workers sabotaging AI projects, it's easy to come away with the wrong conclusion. And it's a conclusion that a lot of organizations are starting to assume, that younger workers are resistant to technology, or that AI sabotage is about attitude more than risk. That framing is tempting, but it's wrong. What's happening in workplaces right now isn't a Gen Z issue. It's a human response to AI. As psychologist Dennis Stolle of the American Psychological Association recently testified before Congress, AI doesn't operate in isolation. It's introduced into human and organizational systems, and its impact depends on how people understand, trust, and adapt to it. When leaders discover that employees are undermining AI, the instinctive response is often disciplinary, and that's a pattern we've seen across organizations. But AI sabotage doesn't start as insubordination. It starts as uncertainty. In practice, AI sabotage is rarely dramatic. It's quiet. Employees might avoid using new AI tools, enter low-quality data, stick with manual workarounds, or delay adoption. From management's perspective, that looks irrational. From the employee's perspective, it feels like protection. Here's where organizations often make things worse. Punishment doesn't fix AI resistance. It teaches concealment. On paper, AI adoption looks successful, while the system deteriorates underneath. For in-house counsel, that creates real risk: compromised data integrity, compliance gaps, and decisions built on systems no one trusts. The issue isn't hostility towards AI, it's resistance to job-related uncertainty when employees don't understand what's changing. If sabotage slows AI adoption, shadow AI accelerates it, just in ways the organization can't see. And this raises a question more legal teams are asking. What is shadow AI and why is it a risk? Shadow AI is when employees use unapproved AI tools, public chatbots, personal accounts, browser extensions, or paid tools that never went through review. Most of the time, this doesn't come from bad intent. It comes from fear. In a tight job market, many workers believe the safest move is staying ahead of their peers. From a human perspective, that makes sense. From a legal and compliance perspective, it's risky. Shadow AI can expose confidential information, privileged communications, regulated data, and intellectual property to third-party systems the company doesn't control. Shadow AI also creates inequality within teams. Some employees quietly gain advantages while others follow policy and fall behind, eroding trust and incentivizing secrecy. As Dennis Stolle's research highlights, when organizations raise cognitive demands without providing clarity or support, people build their own workarounds. The key insight for general counsel is this: shadow AI isn't a technology failure, it's a trust and governance failure. The same AI system can succeed in one organization and quietly fail in another. And that raises a question leaders should be asking. Why do AI initiatives fail within organizations, even when the technology works? The difference usually isn't the AI itself. It's trust, transparency, and job design. AI isn't just a productivity tool. AI quietly changes who decides what, who gets evaluated, and where responsibility resides. When employees understand what AI is for, adoption stabilizes. When those questions go unanswered, people fill in the gaps. The goal isn't blind trust or total skepticism. It's calibrated trust, knowing when AI should inform decisions and when human judgment must take precedence. Job design matters too. Many employees now spend time validating or correcting AI outputs, what researchers call hidden labor. When that work is unrecognized or unsupported, frustration grows fast. Training, transparency, and leadership acknowledgement of uncertainty make a measurable difference. So what does this mean for in-house counsel right now? It means AI risk management can't only sit with IT or HR. It requires active legal involvement from the outset. General counsel should push for clear guidance on approved AI tools, prohibited uses, and critically, why those boundaries exist. Because blanket bans without explanation usually push AI underground, where legal can't see or manage the risk. Second, address data and privilege risk directly. Shadow AI often involves uploading sensitive material, including trade secrets, into consumer tools without understanding the consequences. Training that explains this practically is far more effective, especially than enforcement alone. Third, treat training and job design as risk reduction. Confident and supported employees are far less likely to sabotage or bypass systems. And finally, watch for signals. Resistance, workarounds, and secrecy aren't isolated. They're early warnings. Let me leave you with one point, because this is where most organizations get it wrong. The real risk is ignoring how people respond to AI uncertainty. You don't reduce that risk with punishment, and you don't reduce it with blanket bans. When AI governance fails to account for human behavior, risk doesn't disappear. AI isn't changing how work gets done. It's revealing whether organizations understand the human systems that make work possible at all.